Well, we're back again. I'm sorry that I missed, Tuesday, but life goes on. I will not be with you next week because I have Witchcraft 2 class, and that will be online for the first time. That should be very interesting and fun to do anyway. It's one of my favorite classes. I wanted to talk about spells tonight because we all do them, whether we realize it even or not. I mean, it's like prayers, wishes, I want, all those projections sometimes take hold. But that's not the same as learning how to project and to word spells so that they are complete and can happen. And of course, the most important thing, and most people forget, that you need to see in your mind's eye the end result, not how it should happen, not how it could come to be, because the universe knows all the ways that things can come to be that are beyond our imagination. And that's what's good about learning how to project with your mind's eye. It's part of the science because it actually works. And that's very important. But there are many other things you can do. When you need to keep track of your spells. And one of the reasons is if it works, if that spell works, and say it's one of the spells that you burned on a candle and it's gone, and you've forgotten what you wrote, that's happened to me so many times. But it's a good thing now that we have computers and printers, you can copy your spell before you send it or use it, and then you can put it in your book of shadows. But there's another way too. Keep track. This is a way of logging what works and why it worked and what happened when you sent this spell. And you've got to put the time that you're doing it, the date, your emotions. How are you feeling that day in general when you started to do your magic? And the intention, is the intention focused? Is it strong? The weather plays a great deal on our well-being, our biochemistry. Sometimes that brings us up or down. And the moon, where was the moon? The moon plays a great role, again, on our emotions. And the place where you're doing the spell. And then, after you have done the spell, and you want to know the outcome, so you write the outcome. And you want to keep a separate journal for this. And if you can't copy on a copier of your spell, then you should write it in the book again. Copy it that way, so that you know, because every once in a while, a spell just doesn't do anything at all. And there's a reason for it, probably, especially if you do it correctly, and you've asked the universe that it should be correct and for the good of all, which is most important, or the same. It's very interesting anyway to keep a log like that. And spells are, you don't want to name someone when you do a love spell. And that's so hard. People really want to. You're madly in love or in like with someone, and you want a relationship. But, when you name someone, you're going to get everything that comes with them. And if it's someone new or someone you think you know, you may not know everything about them or what their meaning and what their heart is. So it's better to ask for a companion that is correct for you. and loving and giving, and all of the qualities that you want, you put into the spell and ask that to be correct. I recommend that you don't use a name, because you might get that and everything comes with it, you know, especially when it comes to a relationship's different, especially marriage. If you're doing something about you want to marry, then I'd be super careful, because you know, you don't know. Maybe you'll get a nasty mother-in-law. Maybe you'll get a lot of bills, and there are a lot of unknowns in all of us. We don't know each other until we've lived with each other for a while. And even then, when we live together before we get married, we're still being nicer than we normally are. So marriage is a difficult situation to begin with, and a loving situation as well. It's not that we shouldn't, it's just that it's not as easy as it appears for us. Well, I'm going to start doing, and if you have questions about spell working, I don't know if I have all the answers, although I've been doing them, you know, all my life, but it doesn't mean I do. I noticed on YouTube, there are a lot of brilliant and lovely witches doing tutorials on spell casting, on all kinds of witchcraft. And they seem to be quite knowledgeable. I mean, they're not Cabot witches, that's fine. Not everybody's going to be. But the facts are that they're helping and they're teaching, and most of them are quite lovely and intelligent. So I would hope that you would go on YouTube and look for some of these tutorials. And there's a billion of them on making a Book of Shadows, which is fun and wonderful to look at as well. Book of Shadows is not an easy thing to do, but it's a fun thing to do, and it's so important to keep a record of your magical life. Okay, well, I guess we might have a person ready, do we? Courtney Lubash. Courtney.